You know, we suicide bombed it, but we did it. Oh, can we just shoot that? Wonderful. They are a complicated story to explain. So basically, the whole premise is that we finally made it to Mars. And when we got to Mars, we found this giant orb thingy that just said, "Hey guys, would you like some magical powers?" And we were like, "Fuck yeah, we would." And then we accepted these magical powers, and then all of a sudden all these other creatures started showing up with their own magical powers, and they wanted to kill us all. And they tried killing us all, and then the entire world died, and there was only one city left of people. And the group of magic wielders called the Guardians. And that's kind of where it started. You play as kind of like the central guardian, where you kind of take over Earth. Like you kill everything on Earth and you make that safe, and then these weird worm dudes come in, and you have to go to the moon because there's wizards on the moon, and you have to go kill the people on the moon. And so you go there and you kill this giant dude that's living inside of the moon. And then there's these things called Fallen, which are kind of like bug people who used to be in love with the flying orb thingy, but it never gave them powers, and so they got mad. And then so you fight them for a while, and then let's see here. And then because you killed that one guy on the moon, his dad comes in and is like, "Yo, my God, you guys killed my son on the moon. I'm gonna kill you guys." And so he tries to kill you guys, and you're like, "Nah, man." And then you kill him on his moon. And what else? That's pretty much all of Destiny 1. And then in this one guy shows up and he's like, "I'm gonna take your superpowers away." And he's like, "No!" And they take his superpowers away. And then you're like, "Oh, fuck you, I'm gonna take my superpowers back." And so you get your superpowers back and you beat him up, and then you wake up the giant orb again, and the orb is like, "Hey, neat, I'm glad to be awake now." And then you guys are like, "Whoa!" And then one of your friends dies, and you're like, "No, my friend died." And so you go on a savage fucking vengeance mission, kind of like an old kind of like an old Western style. And you're like, "Bam, bam, 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 bam," and you kill like the Hateful Eight, but in this game version. And then after that, so you manage to kill all of them, and they're like, "Oh my God, you woke up this weird dragon thingy that can grant wishes for some reason that hadn't been explained until now." And then so you go and you kill the dragon thingy so it can't grant any more wishes because it would be dangerous and people would ask for fucking immortality or some Frieza shit. And then after that they do, yeah, kind of like Shenron, but the bones also talk to you. So like if you have one of the bones, it'll just like whisper at you. And then so you kill the giant dragon, but then you find out that the giant dragon was being corrupted by the sister of the king of the dad of the first guy that you killed, and her name is Savathun, and she does like really creepy shit and tries to talk to you. And then after that, let's see here, what happened after that? After that, you find this guy named Osiris, who was trapped in a time loop where he would just like separate himself and then go into a bunch of different like timelines, and he'd do that shit, and then you're like, "Oh my God," and you try to like stop him from doing that, and you help him out, and then you pull in this one guy from the past, but you bring him into the future so that he can fight in a war in the past, so that he can give you a gun that you then give him in the future. And it's all very confusing, but not at all important because that whole expansion was really garbage. And then after that, all of a sudden these weird pyramids start showing up, and you're like, "Oh my God, what is that about?" And it turns out it's the darkness, and you're like, "What the fuck is the darkness?" It's like, "It's the thing we've been trying to fight this whole time." And you're like, "Oh no." And then the darkness starts talking to you, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And your like whole like team members are like, "That's bad." And you're like, "But what if though?" And everyone's like, "Oh no, it's too dangerous." And you're like, "But what if though?" And then in this expansion, you're like, I'm gonna do it, and everyone's like, oh, but what if though? And then now you have darkness powers, and that's Destiny. There you go. I hope you enjoyed it.